Can we ask about your comeback and where you're at and how far away you are?
Yeah, I was close this week. Felt fine training during the week, but unfortunately with my rich history of injuries, they decided to just give me another week off, and hopefully I'll be back playing somewhere next week.
Has it been a little frustrating because you started to put some games together and put some good games together?
Yeah, it is frustrating. It's just part of the game as well. Come to the realisation that sometimes you just don't have any say over what happens in terms of injury, so you kind of just roll with the punches and keep going. And I'm still around, and we still have finals hopefully to think about. So there's plenty forward.
I suppose that's better, isn't it, than the years gone by?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. If I got injured in round 15 last year, I would have been pretty shattered. You try and get back for 1 or 2 games, it's almost not worth it. So this year I've got plenty to think about. It's made the rehab go a bit quicker, and I won't say work a bit harder because otherwise Bush will think I was slacking off last year.
Can I ask, Josh Kennedy, were you there when he got hit by the tennis ball?
I wasn't there. I heard about it. Coxie was bragging for the first half an hour or so until he realised how bad it was. But yeah, it's just one of those things. Coxie really thought that Joshy was starting to be the big dog around the club. He got a bit jealous, sniped him from about 20 yards away, and yeah, he feels pretty bad about it. But no, it's just one of those things in training. We play around with the tennis balls, obviously, to keep our reflexes sharp, and yeah, it's probably surprising it hasn't happened earlier, really.
Yeah. Have you spoken to Josh in the last 24 hours?
Yeah, I saw him in the hospital just before I came down here, and he's not in high spirits. He's stuck in hospital, absolutely doing nothing. He can't move around because he can't get too much blood flow towards the eye and stuff like that. So he's not in any pain. He just has to lie down and do nothing. So and Joshy's normally, got plenty of energy, so he's pretty buggered.
Is there any major issues, do you think, or does he seem pretty confident that he'll be okay?
No, I talked to the doctor as well, and they seem that, after the couple of days rest, he should be back almost to normal. Obviously, you have to be careful of not getting poked again anytime soon, but I don't think there's going to be any long-term problems.
Sam, did you do anything different this year to be able to get some more games out of yourself? Because you have had just a horrible run since 2006, really.
Not really. I've had soft tissue injuries this year, which has been disappointing because the last couple of years I've been able to avoid them. Last year I had a couple of collision impact type injuries, which kept me out all the year. So, the last couple of years I've really felt more unlucky than I have in the past. Where in the past, doing hammies and stuff, I've always felt that maybe I could have prevented them somehow. But last couple of years it's been a bit unlucky. But as I say, there's always things to look forward to. I'm still involved in the system, and as long as you're around the club, you can still got a chance to improve and be better.
Did it ever get to you over that sort of 3 or 4 year period?
Yeah, gets me all the time. Yeah, the first 24 hours after you do an injury, it gets to you a little bit. Then you quickly realise that, as I say, there's plenty still to play for, and there's plenty to get back for. And I still love the game. It's not the end of the world. There's a lot worse things going on around. So yeah, it's not that bad really.
What do you make of tomorrow's game? You miss Kennedy and you miss Natanui. They've got a few out, so it's sort of even ball game, isn't it, going into it?
Yeah. I think I don't know about the defenders, but I'm sure they would have been pretty happy when they heard that Nick, Nat, and Joshy were out. But even ball game, they're in pretty good form. They've got a lot of players out. We're in pretty good form, so I expect it to be a good game. And like we always say, if we can play our best, I think we'll beat them.
Will you come straight back in, or you would hope to come straight back into the team, considering you did play some pretty decent footy leading into the injury?
Of course, I'd hope, yeah, but the boys are playing pretty well. Boy Waters back in the back line now as well, and the back line's been pretty stable, except for myself. So whether I do come straight back in or not, it won't really change my focus for finals. Play a couple of games for Perth or come straight back in the side. There's plenty still to play for.
You mentioned Bo. Did you ever talk to him about backing back into a pack, Chris Mayne coming the other way, or is that just going to be Bo?
Oh, I talked to him about that kind of stuff when we first came over, but you're not changing him. He plays one way and he's mad. I don't even know why he does it sometimes.
How about Scott Lycett, Sam? How have you seen his development this year?
Really good. Unfortunately, I haven't been able to see him play a lot in the Waffle. Don't get down to Mandurah too much on the weekends, but in terms of training, he's a fierce competitor. He wants to get the best out of himself, and he deserves his spot.
with the team up and about, is this an easier environment for a player to make his debut compared to the last couple of years, do you think?
Yes and no. There's probably less pressure because in the past maybe when players had to come in they might have to take really key roles, whereas now because we're getting a good mix from every player, you can kind of just come in and try and just give a little bit. But in another way, he'd probably be expecting when Nick Nack comes back into the side, he might be out. So he has to do his best to play a really good game.